Do you know the first sign of being successful is when you get someone who has a, how can I say it? They don't like you. Just plain and simple. They're haters. And I'm going to show you in this video how to deal with haters. What's going on, you guys? It's Felicia here from Valuable Referral, aka Valuable Mindset, and all I do on this channel is refer value to the entrepreneur to help them win. Do you have haters? Guess what? That might not be a bad thing. I'm going to give you 3 ways how to deal with your haters. Number 1, if your haters see you as a threat, like let's say you guys are in the same business. Let's say, I don't know, you're at MLM. You know, I was at MLM one time before, and let's just say that they just hate your guts, and it's simply because of your success and how well you're doing. Instead of them learning what it is that person did, that I can actually, I'm in the same business, so it's only right for me to do the same, to model what it is that they're doing, and to also work through the process that they worked through before me and get great at it, so I can have the same success. But instead they look at you like, I hate this person, I hate that guy, I hate this girl, you know, and they do everything in their power to demonize you, is what I'm saying. So you simply ignore them. This is one of the ways to deal with a hater. I mean, you actually have to just sit back and just wonder, like, wow, how successful you are, because guess what? You're not really a success until someone doesn't like you. You know, if you're doing, there's a saying that used to say, if you're doing everything right, then you're doing everything wrong, because everybody shouldn't be your friend. That's just what it is. Number 2, they simply don't like themselves, and that's just the reality of it. You know, I know people that instead of them doing what it is that someone else has done, or just being patient in the process and just following that process of what they could do, they just simply decide to, you know what, it's just easier to just point the finger. It's easier for them to just point the finger, in a sense, not at you per se, but to point the finger inwardly, because the reality is that they hate themselves, and they hate that you're such a go-getter and they're not. And they might have a tendency of a woe is me type of thing, and it's really an attention grabber, because after a while you can't do anything to or say anything to make that person feel better. It's really an attention grabber, and it could be very subtle. It could be very just sneaky in a sense, because you're giving your time to someone who actually hates themselves and hates you at the same time, because they're like, oh man, I wish I could do that. Oh man, I wish I could lose that weight. Oh man, I just wish that, you know, I just didn't have the life that I had, and I wish I had your life. And it sounds, in a sense, flattering in a way, but at the same time it sounds like, get away from me. You know what I mean? Like, you just want my attention at this point, and you really need to be a person that deals with yourself first, because in reality they hate themselves more, and you're a threat to them, because everything you do reminds them of what they, I won't say can't, but reminds them of what they should be doing, and they're not. That's number 2. You deal with the hater just by making sure that your energy, your whole circle is fresh. You don't have the woe is me party. You might have it for a time, but if that person's not willing to just get over that hump and do what it is that they know they should be doing, as opposed to just looking at everything internally and just making people just so sad and draining, that's when you know you're dealing with a hater. Number 3, you know you're dealing with a hater when it just simply, like, they just find fault in everything you do. Like, I mean, if you sit wrong, oh, you're not sitting properly on that chair. If you just pick up the wrong, I don't know, you just do anything that's just a little bit off, they're like, oh, you're not supposed to be doing that. Just find any nitpick on any little thing that just seems to be unperfect, because you're doing something that they should be doing, and they're not, and instead of them fixing them, they want to fix everything about you. And don't get me wrong, it's really easy to see everybody else's problems as opposed to you seeing your own problems, is what I'm saying. But you want to know, you basically know you have a hater in your circle if it's not constructive criticism, because constructive criticism doesn't have to be negative. You know, it doesn't have to be. You got the constructive criticisms, people that will curse because they curse, and if it's them and they're cursing but they're giving you constructive criticism, I can accept that. But if it's not them and they seem like they just coming at you aggressively, then you're like, okay, is it really me, sir? Is it really me, or are you a hater? Which one? Pick one, because haters nitpick because they have more time, or they choose to have more time within somebody else's life than within their own. You know, sometimes I can actually be looked at as somewhat a little bit selfish, and not that I'm trying to be, but because I'm so into what it is I have to do. And not that I'm not willing to help anybody else, but dear Lord, I know I can get lost in somebody else's problems and mess up my own life because I'm not in it. You get what I'm saying? So number 3, you know you're dealing with a hater because they just simply want to find fault in everything you do. Guys, those are my 3 tips on how to deal with haters. You ignore them. Number 2, after you give them advice, if they're not getting it, you know you have a hater because now they just want to just turn everything inwardly and they want attention. You got to push them aside. You got to get rid of them in a sense. You know, sorry to say, I know this might sound a little harsh, but the only way for you to keep your success is to have that same momentum that you had in the beginning. Complete focus. And guys, that's all I got. If you like this video, share, comment, like the video, send it to somebody else who's actually dealing with haters. They don't know what to do, or they don't know how to identify who their haters are and where they're coming from and how sneaky they can get into any individual life. I do these videos. One reason. Only one reason. And that's because you're worth it. I'll see you guys in the next video.